British Columbia is Canada's most ecologically diverse province, with everything from temperate rainforest to dry pine forests to alpine meadows. It is also the country's most biologically diverse province, home to more than half the wildlife and fish species living in Canada. In British Columbia, there are laws and policies in place to protect land and forest values. Companies are supposed to identify areas near streams, lakes, and wetlands where activities are restricted to conserve biodiversity. Just across the border, in Alberta, the tar sands development around Fort McMurray has completely altered the Athabasca Delta and watershed landscape, causing deforestation of the boreal forests, toxic contamination, disruption of habitat and biodiversity, and disruption of Indigenous cultures. Jack Woodward, native law expert and author, says, "By the Canadian law, the Cree Indians own that part of the country. They have the right to hunt and fish there. But the developments are so vast and extensive that treaty rights themselves can no longer be meaningfully exercised. The habitat of the animals is being destroyed right before our eyes." The Alberta government says that there won't be any charges against 2 oil sands companies that own tailing ponds where hundreds of ducks died 2 years ago. More than 550 birds, many of them covered in oily goo, had to be destroyed. The tar sands lie beneath more than 141,000 square kilometers of northern Alberta forest. The current limit of 2.7 million barrels of oil per day is estimated to increase to 6 million barrels per day by the year 2030. Current and future high oil prices make the extraction and processing of bitumen very profitable. With 8 times the amount of reserve oil of Saudi Arabia, dirty Canadian oil, as it is coming to be known, provides more oil to the U.S. than any other foreign source. The exploitation of the tar sands is a human rights issue, an environmental justice issue, and an Indigenous treaty rights issue. For the most part, however, the public in Canada and the U.S. have not been made sufficiently aware of what is going on in northern Alberta. There are many sources of clean energy that are renewable and considered to be sustainable that could replace fossil fuels. The future of power lies with alternative sources that harness natural processes without harming the environment or depleting resources. As Socialism Today states, it is addiction to oil that drives the world capitalist economy to ever more devastating destruction, and the new oil rush in the Canadian province of Alberta is ripping up an area of land bigger than England. The prize is huge amounts of crude bitumen held in tar sands.